Welcome back to another round with Jay and Sean. I'm your co-host, Jay,
What's going on? It's Sean Davis.
and we're here for another episode of Our Kind of People, episode 3, titled Juneteenth. How are you today, Sean?
I'm great, Jay. I'm great, Jay. We got an excellent episode to dive into. I'm trying to rock my little Juneteenth colors. I was like fanning through my closet, like where's some red, where's some black, where's some green. So, excited about diving into this episode with you today.
I would have been on the memo, but I'm on the road and it's hot right now. So I'm just going to continue to be in my little tank top and feel like Juneteenth outside with the barbecue.
That's it. You ready for the cookout?
Exactly. All right, so let's dive into the episode. This episode starts off with Leah Vaughn, our lead. She's at a celebration party and surprised by her mother. They're having a good time and dancing, and all of a sudden, her mother fades into the crowd, and we find out that it was all just a bad dream that Leah's having. And once she wakes up, baby, she is still on it. She is still like, I got to find out what's going on with my mom, my family, everything. She wants all secrets uncovered.
Yeah, I think that's the thing we start to see more and more about Angela is that she is determined. She is not going to let anybody get in her way. The more you tell her no, she's going to find that yes, and she is going to get all the answers that she wants to get. And in one of the opening scenes, they're preparing for the big Juneteenth party at the Franklin estate. And, we find Miss Angela keying Leah's car. She is like not going to have it. She sees Leah as, her antagonist, and she is not going to let her stand in the way. It is, we now know that, listen, they are family, no, so she wants to get what she feels like is rightfully hers. So Angela is determined, and nobody's going to stop her. We got some family secrets, more secrets coming out. No pun intended. We see Leah's daughter. What's her name, Jay? The daughter?
Nicole.
Nicole. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
She comes out officially, to her dad in the
Oh,
beginning
I'm
of the
sorry.
episode.
That's Leah's daughter. I'm thinking Angela's daughter. I'm sorry. Leah's daughter is Lauren. My bad.
Lauren, yeah. So Lauren comes out, lets her dad now know that she's into to girls, and that the best friend is really her love interest, right? So the father was super supportive, told her that he loves her, and that's what's most important. It seems like they have a good father-daughter relationship. That she's able to talk to him, and he picked her up from jail, and now they're trying to really just unpack the events and get ready for the big Juneteenth party. I keep messing up her name? Lauren.
Lauren. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she expresses that she wants her grandmother. She wants the
Oh,
grandmother
that's Nicole. Oh no, Lauren wanted her grandma at the.
at the Juneteenth
Yeah,
party.
that's
Yeah,
right. Because it's her event. It's grandma's
exactly,
event.
exactly.
Why don't we have grandma? Yeah, that made an interesting dynamic. Sorry to cut you off, but that made an interesting dynamic because we know when you have the Oedipus and the Electra complex, you tend to favor the opposite parent, and generally that happens as teenagers get into the teens and stuff. They start to they lean towards the opposite parent, and there you can see the disconnect from Lauren and Leah, like even more so, because once she gets in there, it's like, I've been in jail all night and you're worried about a party. You're here worried about roses and all this stuff. And then that conversation between the two right there was very interesting because we learned that the black, red, and on the green event is a passing of roses from one generation to the next. And her mother basically says it's about a woman's transformation, and you need all the transformation that you can get at this point. And it's just like, you're still not accepting me. So you have my dad on the one side says he loves me no matter what and really means it or whatnot. And here you are, my mother, telling me I need to transform into something else. And that just makes a girl in that moment just resent her mother even more. It's just like accept me, set me for who I am or whatnot. And so we'll see that like play out later on. And then on the other hand, we have the other mother daughter dynamic with Nicole and Angela, where, Nicole has a video has surfaced of her fight that led her to be expelled from the school and them all the way in Oak Bluffs, right? Am I getting it right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay, yeah. Down in Oak Bluffs. And, but then, she pushes that off and they start celebrating and dancing the Juneteenth celebration dance that her grandmother had built up. And it's interesting too when think about the grandmothers. Both girls have a strong connection,
yeah,
to their grandmothers. And I mean, we generally see that with children, that they end up having a strong connection with their grandparents and stuff. But both grandparents are somewhat away at the moment. Look, granted, Lawrence is still alive, but mentally, she's not there. And Nicole's is actually physically dead. And so I wonder how that eventually is going to play out between the two girls, if they ever get a bond a little bit because of that dynamic.
Absolutely. So we see that, and we know in our communities that grandmother role is so strong. She's the one making the holiday meals, passing down the traditions, right? So and both girls, like you said, have such a close relationship with their grandmothers, right? And they look to them to be there. And a lot of times grandparents are that buffer. So when you can't talk to your parents, you got your grandmother or grandfather right there, and they're willing to listen. So we definitely see some of Leah's mom struggles too, and what leads into her being in the home. And you start to see, we flash back to a scene of a young Leah when her mom is preparing for the rose ceremony and picking out the flowers, and she cuts her hand, and she's talking to Leah, and the father comes in, and he comes in and grabs the mother out because she has cut her hand with roses, and Leah apparently winds up cutting her hands as a little girl too, and the mother seems to be carted off. And then you hear the father, Teddy, right? This is where he comes in, and I guess this is his way of trying to ensure that his daughter does not inherit the sins of her mom, right? The mom seems to have some type of mental illness, and he, in his own way, is trying to tell her to be strong when that's too much of a burden to place on a little child, right? Letting her know that her mother is pretty much weak is how he explains it, right? And that she should not look to that. And that's not the way to talk to a little girl about her mom, nor to handle that. And you see the mom being ripped away and taken off to what looks like to be medicated and sent to in some type of institution, right? So and this is unfortunately what happened in many communities back in that time when it came to mental illness. There was so little information out there on mental illness and how to treat people with mental illness. So they were treated as pariahs and scuttled off to secret locations. So very, very unfortunate. And it's almost a coldness that Teddy talks to with his daughter. So it's no surprise that adult Leah has a bit of that callous, calculated, cold nature. But I love how we get some of those flashback scenes. So we see how she got to be the way that she is, right? What happened in her formative years to really breed some of that cold and callousness in there. And so it's no surprise that she's trying to cut checks to send Angela on her very merry way, right? When they have that scene together in Angela's house, she's like, this is how we handle issues. We send them away. So she's trying to cut checks and send Angela right on out the door. So I
The
thought that was
interest.
a good scene.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, my bad. The interesting part about that was that the fact that that both her father and her mother's influence is present in Leah, because at the same time, when we get to the present day Leah, she's picking over the flowers. She's being very particular over the flowers, and just like her mother was. And at the same time, she's as focused as her dad is. Hold on one second. Y'all excuse my background because I'm on, like I said, I'm on remote location.
It's
But
okay. You got your own Juneteenth party going on
yeah,
over
it's a
there.
Juneteenth party going on. It's a celebration for my auntie this weekend. So, but yeah, so you get that dynamic there, where she wants to be as stern and as fearless and as determined as her father, but her mother's still embedded in her. So the loving, sweet side of her is still there. And it's interesting too that the things that her father did say in that moment, especially as far as any type of deformity or illness or anything, is a form of weakness, which comes to find out later on, he's trying to keep up a secret of his own or whatnot, because we'll find out later on that he has Parkinson's disease. And so, and I seen that in episode 2, but it wasn't as prominent when he was playing the chess game by himself. His hand was shaking real bad, and that's a prominent sign of Parkinson's. And so it was interesting that he would make that claim that, illness is a weakness. And so now we seeing the degeneration of him happen now, as he's starting to battle with his own Parkinson's and keep that a secret, because he needs the strength to make sure that he stays in his position of power at the company and within the family. And so if anybody finds out that he is struggling in such manner, it's going to be a big problem. And so, yeah, it's like a really interesting dynamic between the two of them. Actually, all three of them and whatnot. And it's funny because, again, Angela's products keep showing up everywhere. So, of course, when Leah goes to visit her mother, she finds Angela's products there. And of course, I don't know where they live. They seem like they live right across the street, because they just be popping up like that in the day, every day. But she back at Angela's spot again and just making her own way in. I'm like, y'all need to lock some doors around here. Well, this time she actually beating on the door, but I'm like, the first few times she was just busting her way up in the house like she got the keys and stuff. I was like, girl. But we had skipped over the scene where Angela was pitching her product to the Franklin. Is Franklin Holdings. And so when she was pitching the product, of course, Leah was being Leah and shut it down over, be it the product placement, basically what the image of the product was. She wants to sell it with a blander look, less Afrocentric look. And we tend to find that happens in a lot of today's culture with our products, that when we get ready to go to bigger companies and get investments and things, they always want to tell us to dumb it down, whitewash it, reel it in for the masses, so they speak. But it's funny because by the time we get there, we already have the masses that we need behind us. We just need the masses outside of our little bubble to see our stuff, which is more of our community, because it's a product for our community to see it. So we just need to push it to a grander scale to our community, not wash it down for everybody else to come in, steal our product, and do what they've been doing, slowly trying to erase us by stealing all of our ideas. What you have to say on that, Sean?
So I think it's like you see the two sisters coming together, with two different perspectives from two different worlds. So, and Leah comes in like a steamroller, right? Trying to push the corporate what you were saying, Jay, right? That corporate marketing strategy and force Angela to completely change the way her product looks, right? And it starts by, ironically enough, she wants to remove her mother's face from the cover of the or from the as the face of the products, right? And the way that it's set up. But Angela, as in her true fashion, she's not going to have it, right? So she's like, no, we will maintain, the face of the brand and the way that I've been marketing my product all along. But you just see how, there are some elements of truth that both of them are saying, right? Because if you really want to bring a product to market, you want to ensure that it has a level of appeal, right? That is going to be, attractive to the eye. So it may mean changing some colors, some different schematics, and making things pop a little bit more. But Angela is so defiant and not willing to hear any advice. And Leah is not having a balanced approach. So they're both coming from a very strong perspective. So neither one is trying to hear what either one is trying to say. But I love that she eventually goes, and by she, I mean Angela, goes to her daughter, and that's Nicole, right? And she goes to Nicole and was like, what do you feel about being the face of the product? So I thought that was a beautiful way to transition, the family legacy, right? Because the legacy was passed down from the grandmother of doing hair and how to take care of your crown. So now, it's the face of the product is going to be, Nicole, which I thought was a wonderful way to liven things up a bit. So Angela found a way to do it her way, which she's always going to do, right? So she confronts her father, who now it is well known is Teddy. And so she was like, now, we're going to get in front of it. So just like you said, Jay, these folks, nobody really knocks on doors too often. They just blow into doors. So all of a sudden she's in the house. She was like, listen, this is my birthright. I'm going to show up to the family estate. And she's, confronting Teddy. And again, you see that scene where, they have such an emotional moment where Angela is just recalling times, the first time that she realized who her dad was. And now she's putting all the pieces together. And Teddy is just, you see, again, the control freak in him. He wants to manage the situation. But between his Parkinson's, this new daughter that he's always known about now, is pressing and pushing forward. And it's so interesting. This patriarch has these two strong daughters that are gunning for him. They are not going to let up on his neck. And he's got so much to watch out for. So, really love to see that, and all the fireworks that are going to ensue from that. And then, we talked about this a little bit in the first two episodes, but we see some of the colorism that exists amongst the, amongst our community, right, that comes out to play. Looks like Nicole is just about as fiery or even more so fiery than her mom. So she's having it out with some of the girls from the community in the beach because they're talking about, different skin tone complexions and, who's lighter and who's darker. And, that really reminds her of a situation that Nicole had back in Boston when she had a big fight and disagreement with some of her classmates about that same subject. So it's unfortunate that these themes really do exist, and it does play a big part in our community. It harkens back to the paper bag test, right? So if you were lighter than a paper bag, then that was the ideal skin tone for for us. And there's still elements of that, right? That light skin versus brown skin and dark skin that takes place. So, we see that playing out and some of the conflicts that how that takes place, the class conflict too, because typically, quote unquote, the lighter you are, you passed, you have more privilege. It was a sign of, your proximity to whiteness. And in many instances, the lighter you were, the more successful you were, or thought to have been. So we see this, but I love that. Again, with these characters, we see all the richness in the skin tones, and we see people who are brown or darker skin who are still successful, right? And very successful in their own right, which we come in all different shades and forms, and our success doesn't have to be based on, our skin tone. So hopefully we'll see more progression and breaking out against that stereotype that's out there.
Exactly. Yeah, that was a very interesting scene to watch or whatnot, especially because, the ages of the young ladies and to be so conscious of the holiday and what everything represents, and to see some of the ignorance, so to speak, of the other girls playing the game, field or house. I'm just going to leave it at that or whatnot. But if you understand the concept of it, most of the time the darker skins were out in the field, and the lighter skins, which was the bastard child of the master, were in the house. And so that created the divide in people that we still face today. We still have challenges today of that. Well, you have lighter skin, so you have a certain privilege. You have darker skin, so you're lesser quality and all this stuff. And to be honest, it's like we're all black. We're all beautiful. And we come in many shades and shapes and stuff. If you just look at my family alone, you'll definitely get it. Like literally, me and my sisters are all different colors. My dad and his sisters, siblings are all different shades with the same parent. So this is just how we come. We come a multitude of shades. So we are, the literally living rainbow. And not that other rainbow, but the real rainbow. No defense to nobody. But still, like, we come in many shapes and stuff. And so, we have to learn to love each other, not be for the appearance of the outside. And that's what we already facing from the outside world, is that, we are a weapon just because of our skin color. So when we start doing that to each other, that's even more problem, because now we're not just fighting the outside world, we're fighting ourselves. So, we got to do better as a community to, change that stereotype and change that stigma that's placed on us, all these years. And it's not an easy thing, because it's been rooted into our DNA, and we just have a tendency to do it. But if you truly understand why our ancestors and our grandparents and all that went to doing it or whatnot, they felt that it would be easier, if our children was lighter. So if it was a dark skinned man, he would try to find a lighter woman, so his child would have an easier time than he did. And, it would always be vice versa, because most of the time you'll see the lighter shade woman ashamed of her color and go find a darker skinned man, because, she was just ashamed. So it's just like, we have to embrace both sides of it. We have to embrace our hardship that we're going to endure, and we're going to have to embrace the shameness that may come. And just move forward from there. And there was another interesting dynamic that I had noticed too, which was also between the men. Because when Raymond came to see Teddy, it was a Kappa versus Q type thing. And we know that how that goes in the Black community with the fraternities, especially when you go to a HBCU, it's big, it's prominent. We love the step shows. Trust me, I do. Like, that was my favorite part of it. So, but it was a thing there between the two, and you could see the dynamic of the two men, the father-in-law son dynamic, which was really, really crazy, because Teddy made a comment saying that most women choose a man that's like their father, and you, sir, are basically nothing like me. He broke it down to him like, I would never have given my business up, especially to a man like me, nor would I have asked for it back. And, that's going to make an interesting story unfold between those two. And I'm trying to see how, I'm kind of predicting a little bit here of probably Angela and Raymond sometime hooking up, not in a sexual way. Hopefully it don't go that way, but hooking up to just go against Teddy as far as business goes, especially because it's just like, he's so big on shutting family out, even if you're married into the family. It's like he doesn't care if you're a halfling, you're married into it. Hell, he barely cares if you his own actual daughter like, that he acknowledges in public. So it's just like whatever it costs, it is. He is not coming down from this position, no matter who he groomed and whatnot. And that brought out another dynamic too, as we see when Angela wiggled her way into her position in the family and in the business by the black, red, and on the green event. So like, that was an interesting dynamic right there, because Angela in that moment displayed a lot of Teddy. And though I know he doesn't want to admit it, he loved it. He loved every little bit of it, because it was just like, when he quoted back what the auntie was saying to him, as far as that, she's resilient, she's resourceful, and she's stubborn as a tick. You can hear it in his voice. He's like, that's my baby. That's my girl right there. You know what I'm saying? If I could have left anybody this legacy, it would have been her, because I can see right now she would make sure it would all get done the way I handle it. Like, no matter what, she's gonna do it. So that was interesting to see or whatnot, that how all that played out or whatnot. So yeah.
Yeah, no, I thought that was great. That she was in her true fashion. She was going to come out there and not going to be denied, and she found a way to get herself on the committee to ensure that she secured a spot. Right, because that's been her big, focus, is making sure that her business gets the platform that it deserves. So she, definitely leveraged her skills, her wit, and her charisma and her passion to leverage that scene where the grandmother does wind up coming. Leah's mom winds up showing up. Young Lauren brings her right from the nursing home. And it's interesting because we see yet another scene where the Leah's mom calls Angela her daughter. So that was a very embarrassing moment again for everyone there, but mainly for Leah. And it shows how Leah is just being knocked down several pegs. Whether it was when she tried to dethrone her father at the Forbes event, where he, clearly says, I'm still the head in charge, right? And he just, sidelines her whole setup to push him into retirement. So we see that there is the pain of Leah still not getting exactly what she wants. It's just out of reach. So she is clawing, trying to do as much as she can to secure her role. And that's what we see. We see the humanity in some of these folks and these characters, right? Is everybody is just trying to hold on to what they have or get what they feel is rightfully theirs. So we see that play out in some of the different characters in so many different ways. Also, I thought was interesting, we see this budding romance between, what is his name, Tyleek, who is he is the father or he is the son of the father. His father rather was the head of security for Teddy's family, right? And we find out that he saved his father, Tyleek's father, saved Teddy's life. So this is how Teddy has secured. Tyleek has secured a position with the family as the head of security, right? And he has amassed wealth in his own right. However, unfortunately, that connection to the family is brought some strings to play. So we find that some of Tyleek's good deeds are really not for good things, right? He has planted cameras in Angela's house, and that is giving Teddy access into what is going on in the family house. So that, unfortunately, we'll see how that plays out. Seems still like Talik has, some care for Angela. It seems like he's just doing his job, but still trying to see if the romance is true romance or if it's all part of a bigger play at hand. So I really hope that there's some more shed to this, because I know that's going to devastate Angela if she finds out that all of this is just to seemingly get control and keep an eye on her so that she doesn't go too far out of range and cause too much havoc to Teddy.
I say this one thing about Teddy. Teddy is one of those puppet masters that makes sure he's going to be pulling on all strings at every time. And so it's not just Tyreek that he has control over. He also has control of Aunt Piggy still too, because there's a scene where he just pops into the car while she's out navigating through properties that he bought up since the incident happened between her and her ex-lover. And so in that moment, he made an interesting thing that, I was at first thinking that the body is buried out there somewhere or whatnot, but he said that, you called my bluff, I called yours. So that means that he was just bluffing out the body is somewhere buried out there, but wanted to see if she would move to go, keep the body covered up just to get Angela out of there or whatnot. And because Angela won't go, Auntie's like, well, I'll just go dig up the body myself. But now she was out there with a shovel at night with her scarf on. I was like, oh, this little lady, she just as cutthroat as the rest. Like, whoa, okay, Auntie. So, whatever secrets that he still has on her, because he does say that he still has the upper hand on her. So whatever secrets that he does have on her, it's still interesting. And I'm going to make another shot in the dark prediction on this one right here, because we do not know the age between Angela and Leah. We don't know the exact age. When we get the flashback scenes, the girls seem to be about the same age or whatnot. I was wondering maybe why the mother keeps seeing her as Angela as the daughter is because there was either a switch up or there was twins. And so I'm just like wondering if that's why she keeps looking at Leah. And, when they said the mother paid them off or whatnot, and one lady took Angela, maybe the mother took Leah or something, I don't know. I'm just making a shot in the dark prediction. I don't know, but there's something more to that whole dynamic and that whole story there that just is a little off. And I know when you get dementia, you can kind of see other people, that person will kind of see other people as their child or their daughter, but like a whole complete stranger, and you're denying your daughter right in her face that, you are not my daughter, get your hands off of me, that's my daughter over there, so it was just kind of interesting to see what the dynamic is. Maybe the mother, both of them was the mother's child, and the one we know as Leah's mother couldn't have any. Maybe that's an interesting twist on it too. So I'm just throwing some shot in the dark predictions. You guys let us know in the comments below, what you guys think on it. But yeah, and I'm gonna circle back to Tyreek because, baby, I was all for the black love and you romancing Angela and all this stuff like that until I realized you gave her free security cameras by request of Teddy, brother. You saying you're not like this family, you're not a part of it, and you are out here just trying to make your way in life and be the best man that you can be. You like this girl. Why are you falling for these man's shenanigans by setting you up to take the fall when them cameras get discovered that they have more to do with just being free service? And ladies, please, ain't nothing in this world for free. So if a man said he set up some stuff for you for free, let's see your man, I would not trust it, and they not quite there, even though they've been smooching it up since day one. They ain't established no real relationship. They had that conversation, you got to have that conversation to know if you in a real relationship or not. Don't just be out here assuming because I kissed you on day one and then 14 years later, we seen how that goes. We're gonna leave it alone.
Absolutely, right. You gotta trust who you allow into your inner sanctum, right? Make sure you're vetting folks before you allow them to do you favors, right? So it's sometimes that good favor turns out to be a way to get in, right, and see what's going on. So unfortunately, yeah, that's where we stand with them. Hopefully Talik finds a way to redeem himself and do better, because right now he appears to be under Teddy's thumb. But we saw a little inkling that maybe he's starting to form his own opinion of Angela, because he appealed to Teddy, letting him know, like, hey, listen, I don't think she's out to get you. I don't think she's somebody that's going to be threatening you. But Teddy, he's not gonna. His mission is to control, to know what's happening, and be one step ahead. So he was, just kind of patted him on the head, and pushed through. But then he slipped up too, where he had a help conversation talking about, how he wound up making a mistake and getting into a affair with Angela's mom and calling her the help. And Tariq was like, hey, listen, my dad was the help. I'm the help too. And, Teddy had to backtrack a little bit and was like, well, no, not in that way. And you're part of the family, trying to, backpedal a little bit there, and realize that he was getting too comfortable and talking too much. But ultimately, Teddy's not going to let anybody get in his way, or at least anything. We see the Parkinson's is, just like all of us, we are human, right? And life has a way of even humbling us. So the Parkinson's, unfortunately, is humbling Teddy, and making his mortality more of a real thing, because as some of us may know, there really isn't a cure for Parkinson's. So it is a debilitating disease that can really take control over your body and your nervous system, and keep you and put you in a state that you start to lose faculty and control over your body, right? So this is obviously something that Teddy does not want to have happen. So it'll be interesting to see how he deals with the medical treatments. I'm sure he's going to spare no expense to try to get the best treatment he can, while keeping this from his entire family.
That was an interesting thing right there, because it was kind of like instant karma. Well, not instant, because that takes time to develop, but it was another disease, just like the mom seems to suffer from dementia on her way to Alzheimer's. There's no cure for that as well. So it was interesting to see that Teddy would get his own uncurable disease, and almost like a karma for what he did to the mother. you know. And so, we'll see, like next week, the episodes, the previews was kind of, whoo. So, we'll be back again next week with the episodes. We're not going to spoil it for you guys here too much more, because we done gave you enough spoilers if you ain't watched it. And if you don't have time to watch it, please feel free to go over to Miss Misha's, because she's going to give you the play-by-play, from head to finish. So, just go ahead over there. If you need to just brief it up or whatnot, come back over here, get our breakdown, because we're doing breakdown reviews. So come back over here, get our total breakdown and our history review lessons, whatever they provide for us, we're going to give it to you as a today type manner and stuff. And, also you follow our other boy page, Little Black Book. You guys go over there. You support our people. You can find our community down on the page if you scroll down. If you guys are having trouble finding Sean's page, it is under our community page, so you guys go there, click the bubble. And I'm gonna also have it down in the description box, so you guys can go ahead and find him from there. And all of our information, of course, will be there. Please send us our like, share, subscribe. Comment down below. Let us know how you guys feel on this week's episode. Let's open the discussion up. so we can start having some live panels on it. You know, you guys want this. This is Black TV. This is real Black TV, and it's just not messy TV. I know we love the drama, the reality drama, but this is drama still, so we can talk on it, and it still has life lessons up in it. So, you know, leave us a comment down below. Again, like, share, subscribe. Follow us on our IG plat channels. Mine is the Sexy Tomboy.
Mine is Sean Davis 120. So yeah, definitely, as Jay said, we're looking forward to chopping it up with you guys. So please, you know, leave us some comments. Tell us your thoughts. What did you think about this most recent episode? How are you seeing things play out? What's another topic you'd love for us to explore and dive in and give you some more insight into? Because this is our channel, right? So, and by our, I mean Jay's eyes and all of you, right? So you are part of our family. So we want to make this like that dinner side conversation where we just chop it all up and talk about what we saw and what we think. And, so we want to incorporate you into the conversation. So please leave us some comments. Tell us what you think, what you like. If you agree, disagree with anything that we've said, we welcome it all. But definitely we're going to give our unique take and perspective on it.
And thank you all again for joining us on another round with Jay and Sean. I hope you guys be back again next Monday. We're here every Monday with the new video. And, soon we'll be having live discussions. So y'all stay tuned for that. I'll keep you posted. And thank you again for joining us. Bye.